Okay. If I asked you very simply what is more powerful, politician or a designer, unanimously what will you agree to? Take your heart and say, politician. So if I had asked you, can anybody stop this party happening, TEDx party? A politician can actually come and stop us from doing all this. But if I asked you reverse and said if a designer can go and stop a party or a politician rally, can you do that? Not a designer, not in my knowledge so far. Now, why is this huge difference? The huge difference exists because politics happens in India in every nook and corner. In small colleges, schools, everybody goes through this, part of life where you do politics and be part of politics, how much ever we want to avoid it. But how many of us actually involve ourselves in design, in experience design? Because in today's consumer society, the biggest problem is that everything is made and given to us as a little on a platter. So you want an AC car, you get it. You got a colorful car like this, you got more colors. So I'm going to aid more of that. I was hoping to do something which would actually make people involved in design. And garment really does not let you do that in most of the cases, except we have seen sari doing that, But a lot of other products does not really do that. So I'm going to talk to you about the story of button masala. Button masala is something I started 9 months back when, we fashion designers have to do, every 6 months we have to do a collection, new idea or something like that. So one of the things that I told I have one tailor, his name is Munna Bhai, and there are hundreds of Munna Bhai tailors in this country. Everybody is a brilliant guy. So I only work with one person and that's my team. So I asked my tailor to do a little trial. I asked him to go and get a buttonholes done on the fabric. So he came back 3 days later and he said, I'm not going again to the guy. Because the other guy said, I've never put so many buttonholes. And sorry boss, 8 buttonholes is my limit, 9, 10, 12, 14. So that's the end of it. So I said, okay, forget about it. And I had to really forget about it because once the buttonhole is made, you cannot really change it. And my idea was slightly different. So we simply reversed the process. And I asked him about 6 months later when my laziness was gone to put the buttons on the fabric. Yeah. So we figured out that, the distance between the fabric, we figured out 1 inch, 2 inch, 2 inch is fine. It could be 1:45, it could be 2:15. So there is this humble piece of fabric with buttons on it, lots of buttons, acupuncture. And then what we figured out is that you have straps. So we needed straps to do this. So we had straps with buttonholes at the same distance, which is 2 inch. So these are the 2 things that all I needed. So once this was done, I did the first trial. So here if you see, this is the strap and these are the 2 buttons attached. Because of course my tailor didn't want to put so many buttons also. So we refused to put so many. So initial trials were with fewer buttons. So while changing the position of the strap, you can keep lifting the garment simply. So when it's raining, you don't have to hold it anymore like that. So this was the first trial. Okay. So this is the earlier one. You remove the side of the button, suddenly you are a designer with a new designer. So I did this for like 45 minutes, 1 hour, and the more number of straps you add, more options it gives you. Yeah. So I pampered myself with a 1 hour trial. I'm calling it 1 hour trial because it actually did in 1 hour. So I took one garment which is pretty much like this, 2 pieces of fabric, straps to it, and in 1 hour I changed them into. It's very simple, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how it works. I'm going to see if it's on the live slow. Oh yeah. Okay. How it functions is very simple. You got these 2 straps, the buttons with the straps with 2 buttonholes. Now you want it longer, you can open it up. Yeah. You want it even further down, you can do that. Now what happens is, that depends on the choice anyway. So there are two 2 buttonholes in these ones to attach the edges of it. Now if you really want to change it, you have these single ones, take it here, attach wherever you want. That's done. You have a new garment. You want to take this and take it a little behind, change it again. So what it really does is give you an option as a person to change it the way you want. So after this, quickly I'll show you the collection that I made. And I make sure when I do a collection in Fashion Week is that I hammer the concept. I don't dilute with embroideries of fabric. So I took one fabric and I made these. No changing, I didn't show how it changes because it will be too much to digest for the public at that point of time. So I don't do that, stuff. I just simply changed it. This one was a garment done by this model. She came out running and said, I don't like the garment, can I get it changed because you're saying you can change it. I said, okay. I said, wait for 5 minutes. She came back 5 minutes later running and said, I made my first garment because she changed it herself. So this is a garment done by her in about 5 minutes. So this is to see, you can pleat it, the colors and buttons and everything can be then obviously changed and removed, and millions of those things can be done. So I tried the different ways of attaching this strap to the, like these are the garments that I changed just before the models are entering inside. I said, wait, let me do something. So it was just to see if whatever I'm talking actually works or not. Now I walked into the, I made a trouser in 2 minutes behind the, when the show is going on, I took 2 pieces and made the trouser. So it's just to advertise a little. Okay, now the question here was, how do I really take this ahead? So I spent the whole Fashion Week without selling anything. I told people, no, I don't want to sell. The bigger buyer comes and we'll buy you Anuj this time. I said, sorry, I don't feel like selling. Now the question in my head was, why was this happening and would people really accept it or not? So the question lasted for a long time and I came back from the Fashion Week without selling anything and I hung around. It suddenly struck to me that, okay, the best possible area where I can use this is the craft sector. The craft in our country is the biggest thing that we talk about in every field, One of the best things that we can talk about our country is food and craft and sleeping. But craft is one of those things that we really talk about. The problem with craft is that we don't let them be themselves. They are mere laborers now. Hundreds of years back they did everything for passion or for their local needs. Now they're doing for international needs. They have no idea what London looks like. They have no idea what white means there. What white means in London is very different in a village. So I started exploring how it works for a craft. So I made a little tiny bag out of it. Now the same bag can be added with extra strap. So if a guy is going to a village, so this is a fabric which is using the embroidery, hand embroidery, and the buttons are actually, oh, I've missed the piece there. Okay. Now the same piece is hanging right there. Yeah? This was for Marie Claire, I was invited to do so. So I explained them this, and you want more length, you can add more smaller pieces. So you see, you don't need larger pieces, you can have smaller pieces and you can start hanging them. So I took a batik and I started making variations of what it can do. So it can be converted to a smaller bag. So you're carrying a watermelon, now you want to carry something else, you can change the size. You have a cushion cover. How it works for a craftsman is that once he has this piece in his hand, all he has to put 4 buttons. Not necessarily the whole piece has to be, made with buttons. He can just put 4, 5, 6, and he can choose to change anything whenever you want. So if you have something not selling, you don't have to wait anymore because, and what it does, what you have to do, no. It's not funny actually, but I know why people laugh. It's serious. It's very serious. What it does is gives you the freedom to be and make what you want. Not just like somebody asked me to make the design. I don't know why and who's going to wear in party wear. At least I can make something for local need. If it's not selling in international market, our market is big enough to sell everything. We can consume everything that the world has to offer. We are big consumers. We can end. So, yeah, you can see. Now what has happened is I invited 2 days back. This is added 2 days back. I wanted to try this. I called a friend and I asked him to use rubber bands. So now I'll tell you the rubber band story later, but this has come earlier. I asked him to do, so you can embroider using rubber bands or a thread. So, you know, you have a little button, you take it around and you can do whatever you want with this. So this is the use of rubber band. What I had to do over a period of time is to look options of how craftsmen will be able to do it easier without a machine, without not be, of course they can make, you know, stitch buttons without the, you know, machine, they can do it by hand. So I took a shawl also to try it out. It's there are just 2 buttons here that I've attached, okay. I attached 2 buttons here. There's no man inside, but the hands. Yeah, the same, it's very simple. Footwear, more footwear, you can do all other things I removed because the time is very little. Now, okay, the second one. Can we have the second presentation, please? It was there only. I'd given. Okay, the second one, I'll explain you the second one. Meanwhile, they'll start. Now, the problem till now was that you still needed straps, and this, I had come up with rubber bands, this humble rubber band. And one day I was trying it out and I said, how does rubber band work? So I took a piece of button, put it inside. I did like that. Yeah, I got a rubber band. I can, sorry, no, not there. I can attach it anywhere. Yeah? I can attach a rubber band anywhere and change the design whenever I want. Now this was something that I really got excited with. So I started using this as my next level of, so it's called Button Masala Improved, and I would like to have the improved version. Can we have this presentation also on, please? So this is the second level Button Masala Improved. What it does is, oh, it comes out. Can you hold it? Okay, here. So what we have here is, now this is like a grid. So I have it done with rubber band. Change it. Whatever, every single button becomes a pixel. You can change it whichever way you want, whenever you. I'm not trying to do a beautiful looking garment here. I'm just trying to show how everything can be changed the way you want it. Absolutely no stitching in this piece. So there's no machinery required, no needle, no thread, no tools. Sit in one place, take stones if you want, take paper, take buttons, take anything that you want and you think can be inserted inside the fabric and make a piece out of it. So it's just a variation of how, so this is like a single garment which is 6 buttons or 8 buttons in it, and there's a garment ready for it. You can decorate it, of course. You can add more buttons or reduce number of buttons. Very simple. So it does not mean that you have to put thousands of buttons on a garment. These are bottle caps inside it. Those are again bottle caps inside it. So the cost of the garment now is nothing. Absolutely nothing. What you make for hundreds and hundreds of rupees in stitching, cutting the pieces, and then, you know, stitching them again and then saying the stitch is bad, the cut is wrong. You have one piece of fabric which can be converted into as many number of smaller pieces, larger pieces. Those are table tennis balls inside though. No, seriously they are. Now the same balls can be converted into any other simpler object. Yeah. So I continuously experimented with it. This is just one example. I started with checks, and I will start working with checks and stripes much later, and embroidery can be involved. That's later aspect of it. Oh, that's shoes again, sorry. So, something for menswear. Somebody asked me to do menswear. So, very simple. Take a piece of fabric on your shirt and attach a piece of fabric. Just take the rubber band and one button. Buttons are there. So, just the variation from how you can actually make menswear. So, you come from the office, you're wearing the same shirt, you take a piece of fabric, top of it, go out. You feeling cold, take another piece of fabric. You don't have to. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. And I'm happy that I've been able to give something to the men in this society. Parmesh is very happy about it, I guess. Okay, so you see how the buttons are attached to the same fabric. Now the same piece of fabric is changing here. Oh, that's because we are only two people, one of us have to model. Something to say that, okay, not just the Western, but Indian wear will also be elegantly used. Now, what happened just before when I got the call from TEDx, I got a offer to do a art piece in Bombay. So this is the last thing I have done. But that actually added a lot more to things. I started thinking about volume. So till now it was just the little tiny pieces. Now I started thinking of larger, inserting. Oh, that's balls. Those are chai cups, and the exhibition is on in Bombay. You can go and see it, but it's called Masala chai because balloons, yeah, of course. So I started experimenting with. I had to make one garment. Just simply adding more to it. For the people who love polka dot. Yeah, that's Munna Bhai. I would like him to clap for him. He's one of my. That's Munna Bhai. Isn't he smart? Now, you take same piece of fabric. There's hardly anything stitched in it. It's a waste fabric. Glasses. All it's done is change the form. Yeah? Oh, that's an intern we got recently. I started exploring it with more of so it's the same button masala continued. Very simple. I made strips of fabric and added glasses and strips, and I started adding. And then you can make curtains, you can make jhalars and be auspicious, and you can make sculptures. You can also try seating. I tried fitting it, and I put ball, inside the fabric. So you can actually make a furniture by putting like inflatable balls or plastic balls, and just make your own furniture of your own size, whichever way you want it. This is the garment which is actually now gone to the exhibition. This is one little junjana that I made as a last thought process. I put little rice inside it and took glass and I added this. So every 2 minutes you can make one junjana. There's a new craft industry possible. Thank you very much.